All right, I'll try to make this short and sweet just because I think it might be interesting to those who have these same inverters. If you found this video, it's likely that you do, or you found one on the cheap. These are the SolarCity Delta H6 grid tie slash battery powered inverters. I got them cheap from Signature Solar for like, I don't know, 500 bucks a piece about a year ago. And I had them actually properly installed. I know some of you were using them for experiments with big battery banks and whatnot, but I just thought that was a cool option to have. And that's why I gambled on them, had them professionally installed, and I started to see reports trickling in that people were having issues with them, varying from just like arc faults to just outright explosions. And today was the day. So after about a year in, this guy on the left here, I came up here and it said, what did it say? Something along the lines of AC over voltage, something like that, as I was complaining about voltage. And this was the second fault. So the first fault I had was an actual arc fault a couple weeks ago, and I just was able to clear that and no problem, and it's been fine ever since. Suddenly today, it seems to have been different. So I hit escape to reset the fault, and within seconds, all of a sudden, two loud pops, more like explosions. I heard somebody describe it as a 22 going off. And my front panel here was loose enough, because I had the screws backed off a little bit, that it kind of went poof, poof, shut off. Lights were just kind of flickering a little bit. I shut everything off the best I could. And I knew that that was pretty much a game over. You don't get explosions like that. I was hoping it might be the fuses, but those tested fine. There's two fuses for the PV going in there. And that sort of explosion told me it's definitely, it definitely seemed like it was probably on the DC side of things. So I took the top panel off here and I had to remove this second layer circuit board here that was just kind of stacked on top. There's just a screw, a Torx screw under here, under this panel, and another one up here. I think it might have been this hole here. I don't know, I think it was here. And then there's two plastic rivets. There's one that was in here, and then there's another one that was up here, over here, that I just kind of like started snipping away at until they let loose. And then the rest is just these card edge connectors here, 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 here. You just kind of pull it off. And then snip a couple zip ties and disconnect a couple ribbons on the front. So that wasn't too bad to get off, because I figured there would be something to find, because I could see this debris already from above. So I was hoping it was just one component. You can tell just from this little bit of debris that it ripped the trace on the board clear off. You can see the back of the FR4 there. And I believe that that could have been either this guy here, but as you can see to the bottom left there, there's some additional smoke down there. So that immediately ruled out that it was just going to be a simple one component repair potentially. And if you look further up, there's another one right here that blew. I think, is there additional? I think there might be some more damage up in there. And if you look in here, we've got the top just blew off of whatever IC was there. And going further up yet, this whole area is just screwed. So it's over. It's game over, man. There's no coming back from that, at least with my skill level. I mean, ultimately that entire large backboard would at least need to be replaced, and these are hard enough to find as it is, let alone finding good spare parts, because the only ones you can find now are complete duds. They're all either have the same problem, they're complaining about two loud explosions going off, or they are having other issues. Because I bought 3 of these to have one as a backup. It turned out I had to use it immediately because it simply was just doing this power cycling thing where it just wouldn't connect to grid. So I'd end up without a backup, and I'm wondering, I mean, it probably wouldn't have been worth even trying to swap the components out on that one, because who knows, it probably wouldn't, you know, I don't know where the source of the problem was on that one. So these are fairly problematic, and I would recommend that if you're looking for a grid tie system, to not even bother. I mean, it's kind of interesting to maybe get it to run off a battery, but I haven't seen much success with that either. So I don't know. It's kind of unfortunate. So this one's going to have to carry the weight of this one until I find I'm probably just going to end up with like a grow watt or something. I haven't really looked into it. This just happened today. But yeah, a little surprised it didn't last more than a year. However, so if you have these already installed and you get the same fault that I just got, I have a suspicion that it might have been what had just happened here might have been avoidable. Maybe. We're running out almost full sun here, and that input was getting probably had about 3 to 4,000 watts available to it. Maybe it was even a little bit more. I don't know. Whatever. It was getting a good amount of power. And when the fault tripped, it also tripped the breaker here at the panel, and I didn't notice that. So when I cleared the fault and it flipped back on, I suspect that it did not like getting the full power of the sun shot straight into it with nowhere to sink it. I'm wondering if that had something to do with that. I have no way to prove that, but it just seems like, yeah, all of a sudden just if it didn't soft start and it just immediately was hit with 300-400 volts, 500 volts, and 4,000 watts. Maybe if you're not hooked up when that happens, it causes issues. I don't know, but just a cautionary tale. But yeah, if you have any advice as to what I should use to supplant this, to replace this one, like a current model that would be a good swap out, I'm looking for any advice anybody has. But yeah, all right, thanks, bye.